And the web gives us the potential for scientists to reach everybody who could use their work. And I mean everybody, not just other scientists, but everybody, all sorts of constituencies, like the innovative business sector, for example. To do that, we need to get rid of the control of access, which has been the old model based on this printing and posting and opening envelopes and subscribing to things. We need to get rid of that and have the costs of those three critical services covered in new ways. Not by subscriptions, because we want everybody to have access, but by other ways of doing it. We call this new idea, concept, open access, and basically there are two ways for scientists to provide that for their work in the transition to the new world as we're going on. One is to publish in open access journals, and these tend to cover their costs by charging the author to publish, and actually that means the author's research funder in general, not the author. They don't dip in their pockets to pay for that. So those journals are a special case. They do not have subscriptions. They're covering their costs at the front end of the process, and they're making what they publish freely available on their own websites for everybody to use. The other way of doing it is for scientists to continue to publish while there are such things in subscription-based journals, and there will be these things for a long time to come. But at the same time, because the public can't get hold of those journals, to put a copy of their paper into an open access collection, usually in their universities, sometimes funded by their funder, and if that funder happens to be the European Commission, then into something called Open Air, which is the open access collection belonging to the Commission, and in which currently FP7 research is going, or at least 20% of it. What we want to see is 100% of Horizon 2020 funded research going into that open access collection, and that is what the rules say. The benefits and problems of open access or publishing are as follows. The benefits of open access means that research works better. It can move along faster, scientists can get hold of their information that they need more quickly, and they can check the work of others more easily because the work is freely available instead of only being available to those scientists whose libraries can afford the subscriptions to the journal. The other constituencies that benefit in our community are the innovation sector, so SMEs who are innovating on top of basic research, the professional, practitioner, education and lay communities of Europe, and indeed around the world. There are people in all those sectors who want access to that information in order to do their job better. So there are economic and social benefits from open access. These have been well documented, well measured, and we've done some work ourselves in this area. The problems that we face is that there's not enough of this accessible material for those constituencies at the moment. We need a culture change within the scientific community, and you can only get that change properly implemented by having a policy, which Horizon 2020 provides. So there's been a pilot in FP7 that has covered 20% of FP7 funded material. It's worked very well. What we're looking for now is 100% of Horizon 2020 funded material being made openly available for the benefit of all of us, not just scientists.
Like your history. This was extremely interesting to show that in the past everything was made under academic institutions. First the academies, like the Royal Society and the French Académie des Sciences and so on. Then by the beginning of the 19th century it was still under academic control, and only quite recently it went into a commercial publisher. We have absolutely nothing against commercial publisher. I love the early time when I was starting doing research now 40, more than 40 years ago. and 40 years ago, where we were having plenty of them, and they were providing excellent service. No one has ever complained. The problem, there were many of them, and of course they were trying to do the best service to us, as simple as that. And our library were ready to pay. But then quite recently, like about 20 years ago, there have been a kind of getting into some companies were buying others companies like that and growing. So now the situation is that there are very few major commercial publishers who control everything. I'm not going to give a name, I just gave you idea, but I can provide few of them, 2 other names. And that's where is the problem, because what is now the model? How do today scientists, and okay, let's say until now, scientists are publishing. What do we do? First we write, well, first we do the research. And most of the research is funded on public money. I mean, at least for people like myself. I'm in more theoretical part of research. I'm doing turbulence, nonlinear partial differential equation, and different mathematical techniques to solve that, numerical simulation. That's my field of expertise. So for that, this is funded by either an employee or some contract money we get through a program, either national, either European, or even international program. It could be some collaboration with foreign laboratories. Okay, that's the way we produce our research. Then, how do we label the quality of our research? By writing papers. Those papers are sent to a journal. We choose a journal we think the highest quality for the piece of work we want to publish, and we try to send the journal to the group, I mean, the specialty where our paper is really going to bring some knowledge. And also, what is important, this part is essential, because in this process, that our paper is going to be checked. What does it mean, checked? First, check for errors. I can make errors. We are dealing with extremely technical topics. Though I need other scientists to check if my paper is not wrong. Then, that's the first check. The second check is originality. Maybe I think that I've invented a brand new thing, but unfortunately someone else in another place, other time, has already discovered the same thing. So the role of the referee is to say, aha, this research is not new. Okay? The third thing also is labelization. By labelization I mean, even if this work is without mistake and new, maybe it's not useful, maybe it's not interesting, maybe no scientist should waste the time with this piece of negligible, not interesting new research. Or maybe the journal where I send this research consider I'm not top quality, and then my paper is refused. This is a process. The day my paper is accepted, and that's a critical part of the system, though, I will explain. The production is made for free because it's already paid by taxpayer. The writing of papers is already paid by taxpayer. The referring process, which means when I send it to a journal, it's taken care by an editor. The editor is a scientist like me, I'm myself editor in some journal, who is doing the work for free. Then I'm sending it to 3 or 4 referees, that's the kind of average I'm doing, who are all colleagues who do this, just checking a really thick paper, 50 pages full of equations and things like that, which is question of spending a lot of time, several days of work behind referring a paper, with their expertise also. Very few people are able to do the job. Then these people accept to do it for free. So all that is made for free. Then the paper is accepted by the editorial committee because all the referees agree that the paper is good enough to be published. At this stage, what's happened? The publisher, which is owning the title of the journal, asks the author to give all copyright. And it's under copyright law. It's not droit d'auteur, which is different. It's copyright. What does it mean? It means we give them the text, the ownership of the text, of the figures, of the data. By data, I mean all the table of figures which are in the paper. It's owning by them and know what they want. And it makes sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to attach the data to the paper. It makes a lot of sense because then you can check the quality of the paper by accessing to the data. The problem, by signing the copyright, you give them the ownership of all that, legally. And what it's happened, typically, if one of my papers is published by this journal, if I want to reuse one of the figures of my own paper, my own work, to compare with a new result I have. Okay, I have this first result with one method and a new result with another type of algorithm. I am not allowed.